Oops. Hello. So, welcome to day 22 of the Honey Advent. And today I am tasting Leatherwood honey, which is from Tasmania. Now, Miellery is a small beekeeping company in Tasmania that were based very near to where we stayed when we were on Tasmania. And I picked their honey. I've got quite a few samples of Leatherwood because as we traveled around Tasmania, I collected the honeys. And I chose them because the founders are actually French, Yves, and he practices biodynamic beekeeping. So organic is one level. So organic is where you have no chemicals. The bees are not foraging on anything that's been treated or sprayed, and you don't use chemicals in the hive. Biodynamic is when you're really working with the energies of the land and with the bees. So it's quite a different, another level. And what they do is they harvest the honey from the leatherwood trees and they actually process it, they bottle it, keeping it at the temperature of the hives. So the honey is not changing. Now, since we've come home, our honey is no longer at the temperature of the hives, and so it has crystallized. And you can see this gorgeous color. Now, leatherwood honey is really special because it is completely unique to Tasmania. It's the only place in the world where these particular types of eucalyptus trees grow. So there's two types, and forgive me, I'm having to read this. So Eucryphia lucida and Eucryphia milligani. And so they grow in the cold, deep rainforests of the southwest of Tasmania. And they normally flower for about 6 to 8 weeks of the year. So it's quite a small period to be able to harvest the honey. And again, like most honeys, if the climate isn't right or something changes, then you don't get any honey that year. And so it's really important that that the bees have something else to forage from. But in these wet, wild forests, they do have the leatherwood, and there's lots of other different species of trees there as well, different eucalyptus, so they can have honeys then. But it is so unique and it's so different. So when you have a eucalyptus honey, generally it has toffee notes. This doesn't have. Mm, it might have a very milky, creamy toffee note, but it doesn't really have the rich darkness. I mean, for a start, it's a different color to most eucalyptus honeys. Although I'm saying that, but I have a friend, Jessica, who is taking it upon herself to categorize the eucalyptus honeys of Australia. And I believe there's something like 650 different species. So you're going to get the full range of colors anyway. So to say that something is or isn't a typical eucalyptus is crazy. So when you lift up the jar, when you lift off the lid, it is such a distinctive smell. And I'd put it in the category of cider honey and gosh, what else? It is so distinctive. It's so unique, so distinctive. Very creamy, very lactic. But it does have, when we did the group honey tasting, Claire mentioned about Play-Doh. And there is that sort of almondy Play-Doh aroma here. But it's creamy and lactic. But it doesn't have the same floral thing. So yesterday when we had the Dorset Bellheather, although you had the lactic, the creamy, there was very strong perfumes. This doesn't have the strong perfumes. And it is like a cider with that almond note. And then when you taste it, so it's very smooth. This has started to crystallize, so it's creamy. Mm. There's no lumps. It's just really, really smooth. And then buttery, creamy. And yeah, I think woody. There is something foresty, woody It's so difficult to really explain it because it is so unique. So when you're in Tasmania, if you go to restaurants and they will use Leatherwood honey on things, and it does just have this flavour. So I suppose it's the aroma, it's the flavour of Tasmania. And what was quite we were very lucky when we went there. We went and visited the southwest rainforests, and I'd seen in the tourist information there was this little poster about these giant ancient trees that were apparently as big as the redwoods. So I took the leaflet and then we found it and we found this place. Not sure if we should have taken a hire car there, but it's in the middle of where they're felling the forest, which is tragic. You know, when you see these beautiful ancient trees and then you see these huge tree stumps that are meters across, 5, 6 meters across. And you're like, how could somebody fell such a beautiful ancient tree? And there was a walk through the forest with, little flags and things so you could follow it. And as you got deeper and deeper and deeper, it got quieter and quieter. So on the outside, you've got all the birds and things, and you go into the wood, and it was just so quiet. But it was magnificent. And these trees, because they were all so big, it was really difficult to get the scale. They were just giants, absolute giants. And you would stand at the bottom and try and take a picture, and you couldn't get the whole tree in one shot. And so you would try and sort of look up or try and, there's pictures of us just stood with all we've got in the background is tree trunk and not even the lower branches. But it was an incredible walk. And then tragically, after we left, not after we left that particular walk, but after we left Tasmania, so a week or so later, they had wildfires. And so much of this forest was destroyed, which is just heartbreaking. So, this is a really, really unique honey. It's a really unique flavor, and it's something that we have to really treasure. And I think it's sort of looking at honeys. They are this timestamp, this geographical timestamp, and each honey from each place has its unique flavor, its unique characteristics. I mean, look at that. But we know that Tasmania has pristine air, pristine soil, very few people living there. So that's going to have an impact on the honeys, on the quality of the honeys. So when you look at a honey as a medicine, we know this is the medicine for whoever is in that forest. And for the bees to share it with us is incredible. And just have a look at that. It does have a bit of a luminescence to it. Absolutely wonderful. Very, very difficult. It's not fruity. It has wood, cardboard, which doesn't in any way give you an idea of the wonder of this honey. It really is creamy. It's like a wonderful buttery custard, but without any sugar. Mm. So it's not a sweet honey, but it is flavoursome. Mm. So I don't have a lot more to say about it, but so Miellerie, a wonderful little beekeeping group in Tasmania, and I'm delighted to have such a large jar. And so when my bee spa clients come, they can have a spoonful of honey to really connect with the bees and connect with the etheric field that the bees are contributing to globally. So even though we're the other side of the world, we can taste that honey and it will take us back. Oh, it does have a sort of burning aftertaste. It does linger, but yeah, creamy, milky, buttery, custardy, gorgeous, gorgeous honey. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 23.